to What's Happening Now, the only show engineered and designed for your viewing pleasure. We have hammered into this next half hour one gear of our society's quirks after another. Whether you're interested in a product that squeezes OJ for you to trial, or you would rather something to play games with, we have you covered. We can wrap this for you, put it in internet, and send it over to your friends. So sit back and enjoy our cleverly constructed program, because this is What's Happening Now. Good evening, folks. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. We're going to get to our topics of joy here in just a good gosh darn minute, but first I think it's important to have a moment of clarity. It's easy to view the changes in our society and think of them as on a straight path like an arrow, from the primitiveness of earlier days to the advanced utopias that lay ahead. Let's remember, though, that the arrow of progress sometimes falls back down prematurely, and we have to try again. Like an archer hitting his target, our destination must always be in full focus. This focus might be gained by examining themes in video games, or even popular music, but we mustn't let this sidetrack us from the critical happenings in the world, and the fact that there's still a lot of progress needed, and a lot of wrongs to right. This has been your moment of clarity. Today in our Fast Break Bulletin, we're digging our claws into the OJ Simpson trial. Sure to reach its conclusion here shortly, we'll take a look at this turning point in an otherwise great acting career. Here to spill the beans on the blood spilt is our tasteful co-host, Emmy Award-winning director Jack. Jack, welcome to the show.
Josh, it's great to be here.
Whatever. Let's get this underway, shall we? OJ Simpson, did he do it?
Well, he certainly did steal the sports memorabilia.
That's not really what I'm talking about, and also that hasn't happened yet.
Right. I kind of get all these crimes that he commits confused.
So, did he do it or not?
That's a complicated question. The evidence seems to suggest, just tiny little things like a motive, opportunity, and as the case is dragging on, lots of evidence linking him to the crime scene.
So it's a slam dunk case, right?
It's really tight, and it's an interesting case to follow, but not a slam dunk. He's got a team of really good lawyers, and they've brought up some excellent points showing that there, in fact, may be some reasonable doubt as to Simpson's guilt.
Oh, so there's a chance we might see another Naked Gun movie then.
Well, that's the important thing here. He's a former footballer turned somewhat actor. He's been in this really popular movie franchise playing a complete moron. So there's lots of concerns that they might have to literally cast anyone else in Hollywood to play the same role.
So I guess the thing that jumps to my mind is whether this is just another example of police targeting African Americans.
Well, the defense has certainly made that case. They've examined some of the old footage of training tapes that Detective Mark Furman made when he uses some racially insensitive language. They brought that to the trial.
So the real question is whether or not this cop framed OJ or not, right?
Well, OJ's a celebrity, so it's unlikely he committed this crime. While he had motive, opportunity, and was almost certainly at the scene of the crime in possession of incriminating evidence from the murder scene, it's just really unbelievable that someone of his means and stature would commit a common crime.
Yeah, but it makes for good TV, though, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, that's where the bulk of the interest is coming from here. If he didn't do it, then he's the victim of a corrupt and racist police department led by a vindictive white racist police officer, I know, oxymoron, who was hell-bent on lynching OJ. But if he did do it, then he is a fallen star who has tumbled from fame and riches into tragedy. Either way, this is great for ratings and great for people in their 60s and 70s who need to tune into something so that they can spend their afternoons somehow.
So not something likely to fade from people's minds after just a couple years, right?
Yeah, I'm sure nothing will happen in the later part of this decade or early part of the next that will make this but an afterthought. It's the crime of the century.
Just like the Lindbergh baby, except it's happening now, so it's clearly more important, right, Jack?
Exactly. It's happening now, so it's more important.
All right. So moving along, what else is going on?
Well, there's lots going on in the world right now. Thanks to this newfangled contraption called the Internet, it's all getting to us right in the convenience of our very own homes.
So I've heard about this Internet thing, but what is it exactly?
Well, Josh, you could say the Internet is a global information and communications network accessible to anyone with a connection to it. It's mostly used for porn and Star Trek fan fiction at the moment, though.
What about pornographic Star Trek fan fiction?
Of course, Josh. Pornographic Star Trek fan fiction is the natural terminal point in the evolution of any information network.
Is there anything else the Internet could be used for, though, in the future?
Not at all, Josh. I predict it'll be completely out of commission within 5 years, except for streaming Star Trek pornographic fan fiction.
Good to hear, man. What else is on the docket for today?
Josh, what if I told you that you could break away from our dull reality and be with the most powerful entity in a science fiction fantasy otherworld, one where all the people in that realm hold you upon their shoulders as their messianic hero?
I'd say you've been reading too much of that pornographic Star Trek fan fiction, Jack.
Well, of course I have, but don't be ridiculous. You can dedicate your entire life to pornographic Star Trek fan fiction, and you still can never read enough, never draw enough pictures, and never certainly write too much of it.
My mistake, Jack. I'll never degrade your numerous volumes of Kirk Picard erotica ever again.
Yeah, it's Picard and Riker, actually.
Oh.
But thanks. I mean, that's really all that I ask for. Anyways, you've heard much about these video game things, huh? Unlike novels or even movies, you can actually interact with a virtual world and experience a story in ways our ancestors never could.
Sounds like something that only children should play with, Jack.
Children fucking losers. Bunch of nerds. Let's see what our distinguished panel of guests has to say about these video games. We won't really get into it right now. So, on to our next topic, Josh. Do you listen to a lot of rap?
You mean like the crinkling of tinfoil? No, not really, Jack.
You little rascal. Rap music is what I'm talking about. It's a rhythmic style of music born out of the hip-hop subculture in the U.S. and skyrocketed to the Billboard Top 40 in recent years.
You know what? I'll stick to alternative Christian rock, thank you, Jack.
Yeah, Josh, I mean, the only way that I'm going to get into rap music is if some musical savant mixes rap with polka.
So, Weird Al. You want Weird Al to do a rap album?
Yeah, basically. Finally, tonight we're going to get to the bottom of the earth-shattering mystery. Joey, Rachel, Chandler, Monica, Phoebe, Ross? Which Friend are you, Josh?
Friend. You mean like a Quaker thing?
No.
Well then can I be Gunther?
The barista in the show? Don't be silly.
Well, don't go away, friends. We're going to crowdsource these topics to our guest panel in just a few moments. But first, we gotta make our money somehow. Hey, brah, I hear your girlfriend died.
Yeah, brah. She was killed in a car accident.
Well, like, what are you gonna do, man? She was the best thing in your life.
Yeah, man. I think my life's over.
Wait there, young man. Don't despair.
Huh? What's that?
I'm here to tell you about something that can take away the pain.
Nothing can do that, man. I'm just too broken up.
Nonsense. I have the perfect product for you. It's called alcohol. I've heard of that. Indeed. You see, alcohol is a unique product that, when consumed in high quantities, makes you forget how shitty you are and all the bad things in your life. Just try it.
Whoa, I don't remember her name anymore. It's like the pain is still there, but I can't remember temporarily what it's about.
Exactly. Congratulations, son. You're on your way to a lifetime of chasing your failures and misfortunes away with a bottle.
Thanks, alcohol.
That's alcohol. Try it today.
Try new Sanderson's Crack Pipe. Feeling depressed and out of energy? Try Sanderson's Crack Pipe. Its dull, lifeless flavor will fill you with a buzz of energy that is just oh so good. You'll find yourself blazing away at all your honeydews like robbing a convenience store or mugging people on the street. Feeling a little jittery and full of energy? Why not have even more with Sanderson's Crack Pipe? Look for it today in the candy aisle at your local grocery store.
All right, welcome back to the show, folks. Now is the time in the show where we like to bring on our panel of guests to find out just what's happening now. Be warned, though, this can get pretty heated. It's a war zone in these parts, and I think we're going to see some shots fired. This just in, folks, we have a very special shots fired today for you. Our roundtable is packed full of celebrity guests just itching to let one go. First up, let's have some light applause as we welcome the second High Chancellor of Scientology, Mr. John Travolta, to the show.
Oh my god, it's great to be here. Yes, it is, Mr. T. Volta. One of the country's most popular stand-up comedians and now the star of his own white-hot eponymous sitcom, Mr. Jerry Seinfeld.
You ever notice that there aren't a lot of Jews on the radio? Look, Jack, I'm not blaming the radio producers. You know what I think? I think Jews are just too vain to be in any entertainment medium where you can't see their faces. No comment on that, Mr. Seinfeld. Jack, I have a special treat for you. We've got one of your favorite personalities ever in the studio with us right now. Jeff Goldblum, take your bow. Thank you very much for having me here. I didn't realize I had such a big fan in the studio. Thanks, Jack. You made my day.
Mr. Goldblum, you make everyone's day.
Aw.
And finally, his motorcade just pulled up and I'm getting frisked by some strange suits and sunglasses. I don't really mind. All this fanfare is for none other than the most beloved president ever to serve from January 1993 to January 2001, Mr. Bill Clinton. What day of the week is it?
And for your listening pleasure, we've failed to invite Dan, the most boring voice in America, Goodman, to this wild shindig. All right, friends, let's heat this room all the way up to the 90s. The OJ Simpson trial. President Clinton, take your shot.
As your president, it's usually important that I stay fair and neutral on issues like this, especially because I wouldn't want to sway the jury on this trial any which way. But I've got to say, OJ is the only man that will ever rush for 2,000 yards in the NFL in a 14-game season. There's no way he did it.
Bill, you gotta get real here. OJ isn't innocent because he was good at football. He's gonna get off on this because he's famous.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. What's the point of all this fame and money if you can't commit crimes with impunity? Come on, Travolta. I'm the last man in the world you have to lecture on that shit.
I would, I want to give my 2 cents here. A not guilty verdict would add a thick layer of extra scrutiny into the actions of virtually every police officer in a major city in this country. Would that greatly impede their ability to do their job?
Oh my God, man. That's a good question, man. I didn't even think of that one, man. Oh my God.
Jeff, look, I would agree with you, but that doesn't mean the police ought to wield their power without oversight.
Well, Jeff, I'm glad you brought that up. Being president of the most powerful nation on earth, I understand how power corrupts and how an individual can use that power improperly by bringing their individual beliefs and feelings into the mix. Yeah, man, like, oh my God, when I was making Saturday Night Fever and I was laying down some Nile disco moves on the dance floor and the people would just cheer my name like no one's business. Oh my God, I got such a rush to my head, both of them.
Mr. Travolta, I'm not sure how that relates to anything.
Nah, man, hit me out. Oh my God. All these people adored me as I spun around and looked super fly, man. Well, I was automatic, systematic, hydromatic. Well, I was grease lightning.
Oh, John, give it a rest. Sure, everybody loved your musicals back in the day, but frankly, we were all too high on cocaine to know the difference.
I can definitely say I was high on cocaine pretty much every waking moment of the 70s. Don't ever let someone tell you that you can't be president one day just because you're a serial drug user and probable rapist. Rapist? I never raped no one, man. Oh my God. Whoops. Freudian slip.
Oh, looky here. Our president loves his $6 words.
Well, I was a Rhodes Scholar.
Frankly, Mr. President, who here wasn't a Rhodes Scholar?
Look, guys, let's get back to the OJ trial, man. Oh my God. Bottom line, who thinks he did it? Oh my God. Well, obviously he did it.
Obviously? Obviously? You just said he didn't do it not 2 minutes ago. Listen, I know cops. One time, I met a cop who was a huge fan of mine. So, he offered to give me a lift to the Mets game since you couldn't get a cab in New York City on a Friday night to save your life. We're a mile out from the ballpark, and he gets a call on his radio thing about a jewelry store robbery in progress. He turns on the sirens, but I beg him, just drop me off at the ballpark before all the hullabaloo. After some pushing and prodding, he does it, but I think the robbers got away.
I guess I'm not the only one who rambles off on some completely unrelated story. Oh my God. Let me guess, Jerry. In true Seinfeld fashion, the robbers that got away ended up robbing your apartment clean, and it wouldn't have happened if you'd let the cop go straight to the jewelry store to stop them.
I gotta say, Bill, you hit the nail on the head perfectly.
And what does that have to do with the OJ trial?
Bill, it shows you that cops will do anything for celebrities.
So you think not only did the cops not frame OJ, but they intentionally bungled the case so that OJ would get off?
Exactly.
But the evidence is rock solid and was managed perfectly.
Okay, Bill, you have a point, but I think Jerry is onto something here. The LAPD knew that if half its police force was at the crime scene investigating and collecting evidence, then any controversy over the chain of evidence would have been an embarrassment for the department. So instead, they sent Mark Furman in as lead investigator, all with the hopes that his racist history would come up. The people would only hate Furman and not the entire police force, and OJ would get off in the process. It's too perfect.
But like, oh my god, man, that makes no sense, man. This whole case has been an absolute shit show for the LAPD, and if OJ gets off, it's going to look 10 times worse on them, man. Oh my god, they wouldn't just let him off. They can't just do that. They wouldn't just let him off like that because they like him.
Look, I can't say I know the full story, but that's gotta be it, man.
All right, guys. Speaking of things we have little authority or knowledge of, let's start discussing gangster rap. Now, gangster rap is without a doubt my favorite form of music.
Well, I suppose that Tupac, well, he's a great rapper, even nicer guy. He and I met pretty recently at a putt-putt. He let me play through since I was getting through all the holes a lot faster than he was. Something Clinton here knows all too well.
Tupac Shakur, that guy bought me dinner one time at a Taco Bell on Rampart Boulevard, man. He was in front of me in the drive-thru and he rolled down his window. I could hear him talking and rapping really loud with some music. And then when I pulled up the window, they told me he'd pay for my meal. Oh my god, I did like a little dance.
Are you sure the driver wasn't just listening to Tupac on the radio and had nothing to do with Tupac at all?
It's possible, I guess. I don't remember much from that night because I ate Taco Bell for dinner, man. Oh my god.
Anyways, I think what the hosts really want us to get at is this. Does the rise of rap music and its foul lyrics threaten the moral fabric of our youth?
Being that a good portion of my voting base probably listens to rap music, I'm going to say definitely not.
I don't particularly care for rap music, but I have always enjoyed watching the NBA.
What does basketball have to do with rap music?
Well, my good president, one of the most popular rap groups out there call themselves the NBA.
Oh my god, man, you're totally thinking of the WNBA, man. Oh my god.
No, it's NWA. Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, MC Ren, DJ Yella. How do you not know this? Excuse me, I am the wisest man in all matters. I think I know who the NBA is. Besides, you listed off just 5 names just now. Isn't that how many players there are on an NBA team?
Friends, let's not get too far off track here. We're supposed to be talking about how great my presidency has been so far. I thought we were talking about Taco Bell, man. Oh my god. Well, now, we're going to talk about these newfangled children's toys apparently called video games. Don't we already have those? Aren't they just game shows like Jeopardy? Oh my god. As the most well-informed man in the world with a vast global intelligence network at my command, I have to agree with you, Mr. Travolta.
Gentlemen, as the omniscient Jeff Goldblum, I'll have to correct you both here. It seems that a video game, well, it's nothing more, really, than an electronic game that involves interaction with a user interface to generate visual feedback on a video device. Like a TV.
You just read that out of an encyclopedia, didn't you?
No. Yeah, I've seen kids playing video games before. They look like disgusting violence simulators. I saw this 7-year-old girl playing as some ninja, ripping out a woman's spinal cord, and then the game rewarded her for it.
Wait a minute, Jerry. Are you sure you didn't just drop acid before you flipped on Wheel of Fortune? Oh my god.
Travolta, I think maybe you've eaten a little bit too much Taco Bell, buddy. We've already established that TV game shows are not the same as video games.
My fellow panelists, I have an intern at the White House named Monica. I like to call her Big Money. She told me she loves playing video games, particularly this one about a spiky-haired blue plumber that runs through loops really fast, collects pieces of Trifork, and throws barrels at evil animals. Honestly, I couldn't remember much of what she was saying during the blowjob.
Is that all it was? Just a blowjob?
Well, that depends upon what your definition of is.
Is? Don't you mean ISIS?
Is not sure what you mean. Oh my god, I just had breakfast at Tiffany's.
Translating from Travolta speak for our listeners, I believe he meant he had an epiphany.
Yeah, man, breakfast at Epiphany's. Anyways, I saw some of my friends playing one of those video games. It was the Monopoly, but like on TV, man. Oh my god. And they were rolling the dice and whatnot by using some gray pack with purple buttons on it.
I guess that counts as a video game. I'm not sure you're really getting the idea, though, Travolta.
Nah, man, it was exactly what you're talking about. It looks like some futurist shit from one of my science fiction movies, man. Oh my god.
Science fiction? When did you do science fiction?
Oh my god, man. Battlefield Earth. Also, look who's talking. Oh my god.
Now, look here, Travolta, there's no need to be snappy. Just because I've never done science fiction doesn't mean you magically have. I wasn't trying to insult you. Jerry, I believe he was talking about the talking baby movie he did.
You're not saying I'm a talking baby, are you, Goldblum? Oh my god.
Travolta, I'm trying to help you out here.
Look at how much video games are tearing us apart, gentlemen. I'm signing an executive order to abolish video games as soon as I get back from boozing and courting women at Martha's Vineyard. Alright guys, let's get on to my favorite topic of today, man. It's like the rise of this internet thing. Oh my god. My fellow panelists, I have some good news to bring you today. My vice president, Albert J. Gore, invented the internet. Oh my god, man. The internet is like the coolest thing. It's really great for the country. It's got all these things that you can go to. They call it logging in, man. Oh my god. You can go on them and type, and there are other real people on the other end. You can talk to them.
The internet. Give me a break. What's this going to turn into? A bunch of people sitting around their apartments complaining that they never go out and do anything to other people in their apartments who aren't going out and doing anything. Please.
Oh my god, you can talk to anybody in these rooms. I go to this one called Grease Lightings, and there's other ones called Carter's Backside. And I talked to all these people who love this guy who was in a movie a long time ago. That sounds pretty cool, man. I go on with myself called Hail to the Chief. Secret Service doesn't know about that, though. It's like really cool, man. Sometimes they talk about this Sandy girl and how hot she is. But, oh my god, most of the time they talk about this guy who was in the movie with her.
Oh, they're probably talking about Sandra Bullock and that Keanu Reeves kid.
Do you know he is related to Christopher Reeves, America's first Superman?
No, I was actually not aware of that, Mr. President. Oh, that isn't true. Don't listen to him.
No, it's totally true. I read about it in a file we have with Camp David.
Oh, you're crazy, Mr. President.
And oh man, they talk about how hot this guy's ass is, and oh my god, how they want to shoot into him.
You mean they want to make a movie with him, shoot a movie with him? Is this an industry chat room, as they say?
Yeah, they want to make a movie with him. Oh my god.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You know, John, you have mentioned your beautiful wife once yet.
Oh my god, Bill, with this again.
I just think it's rude not to talk about the women in our lives. I mean, I talked about my assistant Monica a good bit.
What about your wife?
Who?
Yeah, Hillary Rodham, I believe her name is. Is that right?
Oh, Hillary. Yeah, she's my wife, right? But what about yours, John? That lovely redhead. Oh my god, yeah, I mean, I guess she's my wife. She's beautiful and all, I guess. I think I see where you're going with this, John. Oh my god.
I'm going to have to step in here and move along to our last topic, Friends. The TV show is sweeping the nation. It's probably the hottest show in the country right now, and literally none can displace it. What is your all's take on it? Jerry Seinfeld, broadside the topic. Well, what can I say? It's a show about a bunch of vain, self-absorbed, horrible people living in New York, hanging out at a coffee shop, and talking about their seemingly endless string of failed relationships. It's gold.
Man, when that Chandler guy comes on the screen and makes one of his quips, man, it's just so funny. I love it. Oh my god. I'm with you guys in America on this one. Hillary came home the other day and said she wanted the Rachel. I told her, me too, hon. She let me tape a picture of Rachel to the back of her head that I had the Secret Service print off from the internet. Oh my god, man, I should do the same thing with Chandler. Oh my god, sorry, I meant Joey. Oh my god, what about you, Jeff?
Oh my god. Yeah, I did an episode of the show. I think it's real good, and I'm expecting them to have me back. I really hit it off with the cast.
That is fantastic. It's a real American show.
It's just the best.
And that about wraps it up for our panel this week. But before we go, let's take some final shots. Jerry Seinfeld, go.
What's the deal with the water you serve here in these little cups? Why not just give me a bottled water? John Travolta, take aim.
Oh my god, what? Jeff Goldblum, go.
Yeah, okay. Sure, just whatever movie I'm in here. Gonna be soon, coming up. I think it's the one with the dinosaurs. I don't really know. IMDb doesn't exist yet. Bill Clinton, Last Shot.
Ain't cheating. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was okay. I would like to thank our panelists for joining us. Up next, I sit down with critically acclaimed actor and director Mel Gibson. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
It's time for What's Happening Now World News Bulletin.
Hello, I'm Kent Newsman, reporting for December 28th, 1814. Reporters today attended a press conference outside the prison island of Elba, where deposed Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte gave some remarks.
I've come to Elba to recuperate after injuring myself in the European Dictator semifinals. It was a hard hit I took at the Battle of Paris, but I'm hoping that I can recover from the injury soon. I am just taking it one day at a time, and I hope just that I can be there for my teammates.
Napoleon's words come just 5 months after the quarterfinals match is scheduled between France and Great Britain at Waterloo Park. In other news, researchers at Killingsworth have reportedly developed a new way of reducing wages for workers. The new method involves the introduction of the newly designed steam engine locomotive to rapidly move goods and carry out other mechanical tasks, making workers obsolete. Company president George Stephenson was quoted as saying, "This development will help to keep the great masses of people pressed under the boot of capitalists. That is the only reason we developed this, and the major benefits to mankind have nothing to do with scientific development." Also in the news today, Major General Andrew Jackson begun to march his troops to a battle engagement at the town of New Orleans. General Jackson declined an interview, but one soldier on the scene had this to say.
Yeah, I'm sure tired of carrying all this bacon and beans around. I was told this would be a little trip down the mighty Mississippi. No one dare told me this damn trip would take so long. I was told we were just taking a little trip. We were going to go help some British fellas who had been injured and bloodied in some sort of accident. I didn't realize we'd be fighting the bloodied British near the town of New Orleans.
And that's what's happening now, World News Bulletin for today. I'm Kent Newsman, signing off. Hello, and welcome back to the show. Our next guest, whom I have the pleasure of interviewing, has been in over 7 films through his career, including I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, Tim, and Mrs. Soffel. He is perhaps best known for his role in Bird on a Wire, starring opposite Goldie Hawn, and he has a new movie coming out, Maverick, which is based on the hit TV series. Please welcome Mr. Mel Gibson.
Howdy, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Well, the pleasure is mine. So, Mr. Gibson, can I call you Mel?
Well, I'd prefer you call me Mel Gibson, but if you insist, you can call me Mel.
All right, Gibson. It's nice to have you here. Tell me a little bit about this upcoming project, Maverick.
Well, it's this cute little film I did with Jodie Foster and James Gardner. It's a funny little thing, loosely based on the TV series that little Jimmy was in.
Sounds interesting. So you play the titular character?
Yeah, it's a guy, not a gal, that I play.
My mistake. Mr. Maturity over here. So, what's the role?
Well, the story takes place in the Old West, and this guy Maverick I play is basically a con man and gambler, not much of a fighter, though he has a really quick draw that he uses to trick some people at one point. His dad, character by the name of Marshall Zane Cooper, is played by James Garner. So at first you don't know it's his dad. You discover that much later in the movie during this complicated double-cross scheme with this other guy in it. Anyway, they all try to betray Maverick, and it's all a fake. His love interest is played by Jodie Foster, who is always trying to steal Maverick's money, and in the end she takes half his prize money because he knew she was going to steal the money after he wins the poker tournament. And he and his dad killed Alfred Molina's character at the tournament as well, who draws a gun on him. He's the villain of the story. It's fun and full of lots of twists and turns. Nobody will see any of this coming.
Especially not after you explain it to all of us. Anyways, it sounds like you have a major hit on your hands.
Thank you.
Speaking of hits, I've always found you a rather wooden actor, and I was wondering, how do you use the craft to compensate for your lacking talent?
Well, to be honest, I just show up to sets and look really handsome and get lots of praise. I mean, I'm really good looking. I think you just have to let the magic of the camera do the work for you.
Good stuff. Okay, so what else do you have coming up?
Well, I have this terrific project coming up. I'm going to be hosting a series of lectures on kite making and kite surfing at the Palm Springs Kite Festival next weekend. It should be a good time, and I encourage everyone to come out.
Kites?
Yeah, kites. I'm really into them and hold a degree in kytology from Trump University.
Oh, I see. I guess people don't really know much about you other than your alcoholism.
Yeah, that's also just a phony act. You have to play that stuff up for the press so they keep you in the paper when you're in a career lull. To be honest, I really just spend most of my time flying kites and bird watching. I even usually have my stunt double do my drunk driving for me.
Your stunt double does your drunk driving?
Yeah, it's just a pain in Hollywood these days to go fly kites and look at some birds. How am I supposed to sketch a tricolored blackbird when some asshole cameraman is taking pictures of me and scaring the birds away?
So you're telling me you birdwatch as well?
Oh yeah, after a good kite flying session, I like to make my way back to the bushes and see if I can spot a western bluebird or two. I love making sketches of the little guys and collecting them in a binder I keep with me.
Okay, so birds and kites. Now, how does this play into your movies? Was Bird on a Wire inspired by this sort of hobby?
Nah, just let my Jew agent pick the movies and roles for me so that we can make lots of money that he loves. And I can get back to the kites and birds.
So you've mentioned a lot about birds, but what about the kites? How long have you been doing that?
Oh, for years and years. I've got a massive collection of kites. I love flying them all the time, though the weather's got to be good for it. One thing I love about the Outback is it's perfect for flying kites. Weather pretty much year-round is great for it, though the roos do love to try and jump up and catch them.
I'm sorry, the kangaroos chase the kites?
Oh, yeah. You get a good kite up in the power zone, and it really just jumps. The roos will come out of the woodwork and look to chase it. Can be a bit of a problem if you're on a downwinder, though. Might find yourself surrounded by a bunch of roos.
Wow, what a ruse. Just one more question before we go. What's next for you in terms of movies? Anything big on the horizon?
Nah, not in terms of Hollywood stuff, but Ken Burns and I have teamed up for a kite-flying documentary that is due out next summer called Up, Up, and Kites Away. I have a small little film called Braveheart due out around the same time, so if you're a fan of my work, I guess go see it after you see Up, Up, and Kites Away.
Mr. Mel Gibson, everybody. We'll be right back.
Tonight on Masters and Calhoun, the two detectives find themselves with their backs against the wall, and it's a race against time to prove their innocence. In a case that will shock the foundations of the MLPD, Masters and Calhoun square off to clear their names. Then, on Taggart and Mulhaney, dun-dun, the two cops find themselves chasing down a vicious killer who has one of their own. Can the two put aside their differences long enough to find her? It's a race against time. Then at 9, it's another episode of Badge. Harrison is hot on the heels of Muldoon's killer. Will he bring the killer to justice, or will he seek his own revenge for the death of his wife and pregnant daughter? All of that tonight on the all-new formulaic procedural cop show lineup. Welcome back, everyone. Now it's time for our final thoughts. Life is hard sometimes, and it seems like nothing goes our way. Whether our loved ones were the victims of a pointless double homicide, or we're feeling the angst of the inner city while listening to our favorite rapper, Tupac, we can often get ourselves just down in the dumps. But the dumps don't have to stay down, and sometimes we can uplift them by focusing on things that matter, like friends and neighbors, and the dumps being the lowest point of our day. When you think of how bad things are, you remember that bouncing back and bouncing a signal is what life's all about. So, you can just plug in down the line and look towards a brighter future full of games and loved ones cheering you on to the finish line, where you accept the gold star of love and head on to a better tomorrow. With this in mind, we cherish the time we have with one another and work to make everyone have a truly marvelous and productive life. And that is our final thought.
All right, folks, that was an interesting and action-packed episode of What's Happening Now. Did you have a good time today, Josh?
Well, Jack.
Well, terrific. Everyone, stay tuned next week for an exciting episode of What's Happening Now. We will have on our panel Seamus Smallvern, Desiree DiGiorno, and New York Times' last actual journalist, David Gonsblatt.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and remember, this has been What's Happening Now.